into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to the AfterBuzz After Show here at AfterBuzz. We're talking about SVU. That's right, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. I think you can subscribe there as well. For those who don't know, we are talking about Season 16, Episode 14, Imitation Game, because we missed it last season. So we're talking about it now. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. You can tweet at me live during the show at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And use the hashtag ABTVSVU. All the alphabet. Let me introduce my lovely ladies of Law and Order, Lauren Salaun.
Hello, Lauren Salaun here. You guys can find me all over the internet, but especially on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at Lauren Salaun. Oh yeah, there we go.
And Isabelle Du.
And I'm Isabelle Du. You guys can find me all over the internet, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, everything under Isabelle Du, because there's no other Isabelle Du. Except for a yoga instructor, but she has a different name after Du, but you know.
There it is. Okay. Before we begin, we need to start with our warning. Right.
Yes,
okay.
we do.
I remembered today. Guys, we're talking about very serious issues here, especially this episode. Very serious topics, and we understand that these are real things and that people get hurt, and sometimes when the conversation gets too dark, we make awful, awful jokes. And we first warn you so that if you are sensitive to these topics, we suggest not listening. But for everybody else, hey, we're going to make awful jokes. And we have a hotline for anyone who may need it.
We do. We've got the RAIN, Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network hotline, and that is 1-800-656-HOPE, 1-800-656-HOPE.
Excellent. All right. Whew, that's out of the way. Let's talk about Imitation Game.
Yay.
When this episode first aired, I was so excited. Because I knew all about the situation that it's based on. And so I was like, we're doing an episode. Yeah.
And it was very relevant and not that long ago that this all happened.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
I love this episode. I remember my first time watching it, I loved it, but my boyfriend actually hated it.
Why? Is he a video game
player? It got a lot of
he's not.
backlash from like the gaming community.
Yeah.
And from people who were a part of Gamergate and everything, like,
right.
You know, from both sides, people didn't feel like it portrayed gamers in the situation
At the time, I actually didn't know about Gamergate.
Neither did I.
I didn't know about until...
Neither did Ice-T?
No.
That's
oh,
funny.
really? While filming it, too?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that. All right, let's jump into Imitation Game.
Intimidation.
Intimidation Game, that's what I meant. That's what I said.
You said imitation.
Nope, that's what I said. Intimidation Game.
I'm going to replay that later.
No.
Brawl.
Yeah, okay. Girl fight. All right. So, Finn and Rollins and Carisi, now that we love him, we're all hanging out at the International Video Game League Championship Finals. Which,
Dorks.
yeah.
Just
That's a thing. That's
I
like a
believe
thing.
it. Yeah.
It's totally a thing.
There's a convention circuit in LA called Strategicon, and it's just different types of games. Like they have a video game room, but mostly it's like tabletop games or card games or Magic, The Gathering, or like real nerd games, Dungeons and Dragons, all sorts of games. I've been there a few times.
Nice.
Yep. All right. So we meet Sarah, who is working a booth. She's not the booth babe. If you notice, when she goes to the bathroom, she talks to the booth babe, who's in her Amazonian warrior outfit. What is that face?
Goals and dreams.
To be a booth babe.
I've been a booth babe.
That's
okay.
why.
Hey.
That's why I go to Strategicon. A booth babe for my friends. Anywho, and she gets harassed by two boys. There's a blonde and a brunette. And the reason I point these boys out is because for those who watch How to Get Away with Murder, that blonde guy is on this season of How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, wow.
You're trying to figure out who it is?
Yeah.
It's the mystery son.
I apparently don't pay enough attention.
Yeah, but it's the mystery son. You'll
Okay,
you
I'm
know
gonna
what talking
have
about,
to put this back together.
Yeah, it's him. Anyway, I went like crazy when I figured that out. Anyway, so they are harassing her about her boss's game. They take her into the bathroom. They assault her. They level up. And then the case begins. This episode was full of ridiculousness.
Yes.
It was.
We also got to see Leslie Connolly again, who was the Glasgow Man creator from a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Which was another great episode pulled from the headlines. Good times.
Yeah. They just interjected a lot of things in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Good times, guys.
Good time.
So in our first interaction with Sarah and Benson, we learn 3 terms. We learn FALs.
Okay.
Failures at life.
Right.
COBS, which is Kill or Be Slaughtered. And FPS, which is like everyone knows, first person shooter.
Duh.
Yeah. OBS.
Like Call of Duty, games like that.
Yeah. I feel like we have other terms that you guys looked up.
We do. I mean, noobs, I think everyone kind of knows,
I mean, that was so obvious.
Well, yeah, but just in case, I don't want to assume that
Right.
everyone knows what we're talking about. Noobs, people who don't know what they're doing. Newbies, inexperienced.
Yeah.
Leveling up, obviously, like upgrading, usually for your skills or powers or something. Campers, which Steven in the booth just told me about, which is I do that sometimes when I game, where you just like hide in a little corner and wait around in first-person shooter games to shoot other people that walk by. But actually, I played the Star Wars game that just came out, and I was like going for it. I was like running everywhere and would just die in a blaze of fury, and it was super fun and stressful. Doxing, that's not necessarily a game specific,
That's
or is
like
it
a
internet
general-
specific?
There's some overlap with the internet-y, like, hackery world and the gaming world, which makes sense.
So doxing is when people's personal information gets outed and released to the public.
Yeah.
Which is not cool.
Yeah. Siri thinks we're talking to her.
Siri, shut up.
I felt like this episode, it felt like they were trying really hard to be like vocab after vocab after vocab.
Yeah.
It felt a little
Super
too
relevant.
much. Yeah. I get it. And some episodes, you hear them talk about Uber and Twitter and things like that. But then you're like, okay, calm down, everyone.
They're like, hashtag
Facespace.
cool,
It's on his Facespace account. That was my favorite when that was a thing. That Stabler was still around.
Having some trouble with the connection.
Oh, that's me. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry.
Who is that woman speaking in here?
Siri got excited. I apologize.
Well, and another thing with making it more relevant to the internet and gaming world, Toby Turner played who's like a huge YouTuber and gamer, Tobiscus. I don't even know how to, Toby Turner, that's how I know him as, because I don't watch too many YouTube gamers. But he played like the MC guy at the big kind of rally thing.
Oh, cool.
So that was another little thrown in there.
Oh, awesome.
You recognized him from the YouTube channel?
From YouTube, yes.
Wow.
At the IVL.
Well, he used to date
tributes.
iJustine, and I love iJustine, so that's like how I know
Another
about him
YouTuber?
more. Yes.
That belongs in like the IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
You're going to add that in there.
You should add it in.
All right, let's talk real quick about the story. So, Sarah's assault is irrelevant. It's about Reina Punjabi, who is the game creator of Amazonian Warriors, and her husband or fiance, Steve Kaplan. So, the gaming community is upset at Reina Punjabi because her game is progressive.
Not
and
about
actually
killing people.
But could be like, that's when they described the game, I was like, I'd totally play
it
this game.
sounds like Myst, which is so old. Does anyone know
No.
about Myst? This was
Yes.
like a game when I was so little.
Thank you, Steven.
And it was just like you're wandering around and looking at like clues and things, and it was so like open.
It's a puzzle game basically, but it was really cool.
Thank you,
It
Steven.
was really cool and so old school.
I'm
so
sure
that's
you
what it
can find
reminded me of when I was watching it. Like,
Dun, dun. Okay.
yeah, nerd alert.
There it is. All right. So Reina is being harassed and doesn't want protection, and then she's doing an interview, and she gets swatted. Do we want to explain swatting?
Yeah, so swatting is...
No, put your hands down. I'm just kidding. It's not what swatting is.
Just kidding.
Give me a fly swatter. So swatting is when it's you're prank calling with the intention of getting authorities such as the SWAT team or police enforcement to come in and raid a certain place after doxing somebody's personal information.
Yeah.
And should I be talking about swatting now, or you want to save that
I
afterwards?
mean, we'll talk more. I just wanted to define it.
Yeah.
But like that, if people remember, there was a time where that was a huge thing.
It still is.
Happening to like
Still is.
Bieber
It
got
happened to
swatted
Bieber a
a
lot.
Yeah. Different
Which he
celebrities.
deserved. Anyway, so after she gets swatted, they're like, don't do your big opening show. And she's like, I'm still going to do it. And then I'm going to say this is awful, but I do think this sometimes when an attack of this caliber, right? Like these guys wanted to kidnap her and assault her and whatever, but it was so well thought out and planned. You got to give them organizational props. Right,
This
like
is true.
they gave everybody the laser pointers,
Yeah.
and they hacked into the security system, and they made sure that they had a security guard to take her out to the car. Like it was a very well thought out plan.
Well, my impression was it was well thought out, but it was like headed by like one or two guys, and
Yeah.
it seemed like they are all on a forum, and
Right.
they just designated out responsibilities, but those guys weren't really sure what the true intention of the head guy was. I forgot his
Right.
name is, and the forum was called Red Chan,
Oh yeah.
Red Chan,
Red Chan.
such as like
4chan.
4chan. Because the guy who's the security guard, he was like, I wasn't really sure. We were just supposed to scare
Right.
her.
Right.
So it was well thought out, but I felt like not everybody was on the same page.
No, but they don't need to be. They're the
Yeah.
worker bees. The mastermind put this all together and did it and executed it well. I just think he deserves props for that. I mean, what his intentions were awful, but he
Yeah.
deserves props.
Yeah,
for,
it was,
he would
it was
be an
well
amazing.
executed.
Yeah, he would be
just,
an amazing.
Just apply those skills somewhere else,
Yeah,
buddy.
he'd be a great cop, great spy, a great party planner. Like he could do anything with those organizational skills. Just to be clear. You look like you had something on to
Oh
add.
no, I agree.
Party planner, yeah.
Yeah.
A party planner.
Clearly. Yeah.
Wedding planner. He'd be great at it.
Yes.
He'd have backup and contingencies for when everything goes wrong. Anyway, so Reina is taken, and then the police are now forced to play a game. This isn't the first time that they've played games. I love when they're forced to play a game, or
Yeah.
like they're on a scavenger hunt to find the missing kid.
I do like that.
I love that. I always think that's a clever criminal.
Yeah. I mean, they did that one with the girl, the college dorm, where they
Where-
couldn't find.
Right, and she wasn't actually being assaulted, and it was to help the guy find his little brother. Good episode.
Yeah, that felt was like a game.
Yeah, and then there's the one where the guy was picking up where a serial killer that he admired had left off, and was giving them clues and
Right.
Oh yeah.
good times.
Well,
Anyway,
because it turns it on its head,
Yeah.
with the cops are
Forced to play a
pawns
game.
for the criminal.
Well, it does happen in real life. So, Zodiac killer.
right.
Leading them on this little rabbit chase.
Awesome. Good times. So anyway, they have to go through their 3 levels to find Reina, and in the end, one of the main bad guys realizes what's happening, decides he doesn't want to be part of it anymore, and helps the cops find them.
And geotags, which, by the way, I just realized about Instagram, so I ungeotagged.
You just realized that?
I mean, I've heard about it, but I just thought it was you putting your location on your Instagram, like tagging your location. I didn't realize there was a whole nother section. If you don't know what geotagging is, like people could literally find your home
Turn
down
off
to
your location
Yeah.
stuff for any apps,
Yeah.
unless it's like Google Maps,
Yeah, like
obviously.
GPS.
But like everything else, they don't need to know where the heck you are while you're using the app if you're just browsing online.
What are you looking at?
No, like the Macy's app. You don't need to know where I am.
They do.
No, they don't.
they're like running down with shoes.
Like crap like that, you know.
You like these shoes?
We found you.
But that sort of stuff, you know, that's don't trust the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, if you put info on the internet,
Like Snapchat, it disappears. Please.
you're so cute. Anyway, so they find her and save her, although she has been assaulted. And then Finn gets to shoot someone. Yay!
And the IAB never comes.
Right. Sometimes they don't come. Rarely.
Yeah.
And
yes.
And another fun fact: our Blondie bad guy, there
From
at the
How
end.
to Get Away with Murder? No, the one at the end.
No, the one at the end. He is. Why am I now suddenly blanking on his name? Logan Paul, who is a huge Viner. So we're getting more of these like big internet names going in there, and his Vines are hilarious, actually. So it was really funny when I was watching this when it first came out. I was like, wait, what? Logan Paul's in this? I'm like, he's so serious and scary. So I'm used to seeing him like just joking around on Vine. So anyway, you can see a whole
He
nother
leveled
side.
up in life.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I have some interesting facts, fun facts, that there's this blog. It's called allthingslawandorder.blogspot. And
I love that blog.
Yeah. So that they will write a review of the episode and then break it down like scene by scene with quotes and stuff. It's great. But they pointed out a huge error with this show in the last episode, which was decaying morality. There are overlapping dates. So Amaro is nowhere to be found in this episode, but on the same date last week, he was in the squad room and even was interviewing the dentist in his office with Carisi, and it's the same day, and they're working two cases.
It's the same day?
Like, you know how it gives us the time and the date? The giant error.
Oh, no.
And the writer of All Things Law and Order says that these kinds of errors are just plain sloppy. And I agree. I'm going to say, if you're good
I'm really
They
amazed
are.
by how he or she picked that up. And I was like looking at who this person is.
Yeah.
They're from Ohio. And so if you're listening, I think you should come out to California.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
We want you on the show.
You'd be amazing on here. Like, I love their blog.
Yeah.
They pick up the most minute details. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to that.
And I really think that's amazing that they picked up on that and that they're always doing really great, thorough work. But also, I agree, like, a show that's going to do these dates that, like, most people don't pay attention to, but, like, it's a thing you do on your show, at least make sure that they don't overlap unless they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I think they also mentioned in that blog too about how if you were to rewatch it, when the two guys who go to the Sarah's booth, when you look at the extras, they like swap positions in different shots.
Yeah, that happens.
I mean, but
That's the extra's fault.
But the thing is, it's like you can never. It's hard to keep with continuity.
Yeah.
In shows and movies.
All right. I want to talk about Gamergate because I feel like some people might not know.
Yeah.
So all of the details that I got are on Wikipedia, so you can check out the whole post, but I brought some highlights. So February 2013, super recent, guys. Zoe Quinn, independent game developer, released Depression Quest, an interactive fiction browser game. The game was met with positive reviews in the games media, but backlash developed among those who believed that it received undue attention. She started getting hate mail and had to change her phone number and screen her calls. In August 2014, Quinn's former boyfriend published Zoe Post, a 9,425-word blog post that quoted from personal chat logs, emails, and text messages to describe their relationship. The post, which is a rambling online essay, complained, among other things, that Quinn entered a romantic relationship with Nathan Grayson, a journalist from Gawker Media video game website Kotaku, and that's why she got such favorable reviews, is because she was dating him. And apparently Grayson the boyfriend never reviewed the actual game. And he never mentioned her when he was publishing before the relationship began. Anyway, so the people behind the hate campaign initially referred to it as a Quinspiracy, because her name was Quinn. But it became Gamergate, and this is, I think, one of the most interesting things. After actor Adam Baldwin, who is from Firefly and he's been on Chuck and Castle, and now he's on The Last Ship. He's like a very well-known guy in the nerd community. He decided to start calling it Gamergate.
Oh.
Yeah. So he gets credit for that. In mid-October, of, I'm assuming, 2014. Brianna Wu, an independent game developer, co-founded the game has co-founded the game studio Giant Space Cat, saw her home address and other identifying information post on 8chan as retaliation for mocking Gamergate. She then became the target of rape and death threats on Twitter and other places. 2 critics of Gamergate have been targets of swatting. And so gamer and actress Felicia Day, who's very well known, and she very much tried to stay out of Gamergate. She ended up writing a post about Gamergate and her fear of retaliation if she spoke against it. Almost immediately, she was doxxed and got harassing letters and phone calls. Will Wheaton and a former NFL player, Chris Cluey, I don't know sports, also posted criticism of Gamergate, and no one, Stephen Colbert pointed out, that these men were not harassed or anything. So it's very much a targeted attack against women, and that is Gamergate. It's this, and it continues.
Did they ever, were they ever able to pinpoint who these individuals are?
No, because it became such a huge thing. It may have started with 2 guys, but it blew up to a worldwide phenomenon. Yeah. So that is Gamergate in a nutshell. The more you know.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the fun facts that you guys brought, I want to thank our fans. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love that we are covering the episodes we missed from season 16.
Yes,
especially this episode, which I was so sad that we stopped doing the show and then this episode happened. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for checking us out. We ask you to do a very simple thing for us. Go to iTunes, hit subscribe. That way you don't miss a single episode. And leave us a rating. If you like us, that is 5 stars. If you don't like us, that's 4 stars. The other stars, they do not work. And write us a comment. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better. Did you by chance look up comments?
Comments or reviews?
Reviews.
I did not, but I can very quickly and have them up in one
Great, you
moment.
do that. And I'll tell you why you should write us a review is because we will read them live on the air.
Yay!
It's coming.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. I apologize. I should have told you to pull that up.
I know.
Or I should have done my part and pulled it up.
Sorry. It's okay. It's okay. We'll be here in 1 second. I've got them coming up, and I hope there's a new one after all this build up.
Because it would be really sad if there isn't, guys.
Most recent. Oh, damn it.
Read it anyway.
Read the same one we had last time?
Yep.
You guys bring humor to these sometimes tragic episodes, and I admire that. Can't wait till the season starts up again.
Oh, good. You remember
John Olivencia.
You remembered the fist.
I did.
Good. All right, guys. If you write new reviews, we will read them live on the air for you, and then they live forever because it's YouTube and iTunes. Yes. Forever.
Ever?
Yeah. Forever.
Forever. And so forever that we had to read it a second time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Boom. Okay. I know that you guys had some homework assignments. So let's talk about Ice-T for a second.
We did. So Ice-T in real life is a big gamer.
Shock.
Yeah, right? and this is not huge news to a lot of people, but huge gamer. I watched this video with him and Coco talking about how they both love playing video games together, which is super cute. And
that's really cute.
That's how they made a baby.
Oh yeah.
That's how babies are made. Is you play video games
together. And so he's a huge fan of Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Need for Speed. They said that they play Army of Two together. He plays Titanfall. And he said that it is a great way for him to get rid of his bloodlust.
Bloodlust?
Yes. He's like, men have a lot of testosterone, so it's a way for me to kill people without going to jail. And, I mean, Ice-T used to, be involved in gangs, so this is, a real thing to get some of that aggression out. It's a much better channel.
He also, if you've read his biography, Ice-T had a really tough life, and when his character says stuff like, "You don't know what pimping is. I was a pimp."
Yeah,
that's Ice-T.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny because I was reading an article about his gaming stuff, and it said something like, Ice-T, who's most well known for being Finn on Law & Order SVU. I'm like,
for being Finn?
Yeah,
Finn.
I was like,
oh, Finn.
Oh, Finn. No, yeah, Finn.
I'm hearing things.
And I'm like, like, how old is the person who wrote this? Because Ice-T's been around for a lot longer than he's been on SVU, which, yes, SVU's been going on forever, but still, you know, he had a lot going on before that,
he
too.
had a prior career to this.
He's like a pretty legit rapper for anyone else who doesn't know that. So, in addition to just playing video games, he voiced Mad Dog in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Agent Kane in Sanity, Aiken's Artifact. And he also appeared as himself in Def Jam Fight for New York and UFC's Tap Out fighting video games. So that's kind of fun.
I think it's interesting that he said that it's this way to release his aggression, because you hear the reverse, how people are like, well, we shouldn't have violent games because that's what's causing the violence. And he's taking the opposite approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like that.
I think I said it last time that the writers on the show are very vocal about how if a character or if an actor has an opinion on something, they will write that in for that character to say. And so Finn said some of this stuff that, like, I spend all day with a gun in my holster, and, like, I get to release this stress when I go home and just shoot things. So it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
And in relation to Gamergate and ICE, he didn't really know what Gamergate was, what it was about when they did the episode and when the episode aired. And so he ended up getting a little heat from people on Twitter because he said something, he like made some like tweet about like actors not like putting their money where their mouth is sort of thing, and like standing, what was it, like standing up for like whatnot, standing their ground in the pursuit of popularity, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and so somebody like tweeted back at him, was like, oh, like how you stood your ground about Gamergate in that episode, blah, 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 like sassing him. And then T's basically just like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What's Gamergate? And says all this back and forth. And he's pretty much like, newsflash, I'm an actor on TV. I act like I know about shit I have no idea about. And then he does a little research and figures out what Gamergate's all about. And then he goes, there's all these tweets. I'll tweet the article later, but there's all these tweets from ICE just basically being like, the press and people are going to write whatever they want. They've always like trashed gamers, like tell them to like eat a bag of D's, you know, and like don't worry about it, just keep gaming sort of thing. But there was a little beef, and it was
interesting.
It was pretty funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I love ICE. He's so good.
He's so cool.
Awesome. We have more information, yes?
Yeah, so when we're the whole cops thing, kill or be slaughtered.
Yeah.
I realized where that was coming from. So there's a guy named Matthew Tollis, who's an Xbox gamer, and he's actually in federal prison for a year. He's a 22-year-old for basically swatting. He was sending out bomb threats to Boston University, to New Jersey high schools, and a high school in Texas. And he's part of a gamer team called, get this, Crucifix or Die.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, don't you? I think that's like you don't think that ties in?
Oh, no. Yeah, but that's like a stressful, that's like a big
That's
name.
a big name. I love
To be killed or slaughtered is a pretty like
kill or be
intense.
slaughtered. It's like, I love that this show likes to take real things and then just change it a tiny bit.
Like they're going through the source and they're like, okay, this will work.
This will work. Slaughtered. That'll work. I love that they do that because it's like when they say Facespace. It's because they can't say Facebook or MySpace. They go, oh, on his Facespace page.
My face page.
Yeah,
Like in,
they've said
the league.
Yeah,
That's what they called it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny that they do that, and
so kill or be slaughtered is not a real thing.
I couldn't find any.
I mean, kill or be killed is like a phrase.
Right. But kill or be slaughtered in video games.
I don't think so.
I couldn't really find anything on it.
Googling. Nope. A cob is an antelope found across sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, that's what a cob is.
But you know the video where Raina gets swatted. That looks so closely to the video of a gamer that was actually swatted.
Right. I
live
noticed
stream.
a lot of the things that they did or showed us, there were very similar imagery.
Yeah, it was
online.
when what's his name got caught. Jordan Mathewson. He was on Twitch and he was live streaming his game, and then he hears people in the background and he's like, okay, I think I'm being swatted. So
Punks.
if you watch the video, it looks exactly
like hers.
It's mirrored the same way as in SVU.
Wow.
So you can definitely see that on YouTube and everything. But there was a guy in 2009, Matthew Weigman. He was kind of like the first person to be prisoned for something related to swatting. He's 11 years in federal prison.
Wow. Well, that's freaking serious thing to do. Like, people can get hurt. Like,
it's
not cool to mess with the fake emergencies like that, or serious threats.
Well, it's considered domestic terrorism.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. And actually, that team, the Crucifix or Die, apparently they changed their name to ISIS gangs.
Oh gosh, they need to. They're not making better choices down the road. They're just getting worse.
They've leveled down.
Leveled
down.
Yeah, rough, man, rough. Really rough stuff.
We've got a lot of folks in the chat roll right now, and they're feeling like they have questions.
Oh, great!
So we've got the real Gloria, Hanan.
What are the questions?
Well, sorry, I'm just giving some shout outs. So, I mean, initially, Hanan asked if you were pissed about Noah's references throughout the episode.
Okay,
like, he's not on screen, but you will hear the hell out of him.
So I tried to avoid it. It was in my notes, and I was like, I'm just going to skip over this. Here's the thing. So the first part of the episode, right, when she's talking to her therapist, who I love seeing, and I think it's great that she's doing it, he says something that real pissed me off. He says that, like, you know, because Noah's knocking down blocks or whatever, being a freaking child. And his response is like, I mean, you know, he is a boy and it's in their DNA to destroy things.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many times has this show argued about that?
Yeah.
Like, and here we are just accepting the medical professional being like, boys will be boys.
Well, my thing about that doctor, by the way, doesn't anybody else find him creepy?
Yeah.
Like, I look at his face, I'm like, I feel like we're going to have an episode on you in the future and you're going to be creepy as F.
I really wish they would have used that actor for like, if he's going to be a therapist, which I'm okay with, him being a therapist that rapes his patients. Like, that would have been much more interesting than using him for like a legit therapist.
He might end up being one.
Yeah.
Hey, medical examiner creepo.
Yeah. All right.
Totally happened.
Big
And
possibility.
the other reference to Noah also real pissed me off, where they're talking about the video games and she grabs a photo. I was like, this is so corny.
She makes an effort to like turn it around too.
Is this what Noah has to look forward to? Like, look at this face. You want this child to grow up playing violent video games?
Oh, man.
That was, both those, real obnoxious.
They tried hard. They really tried hard to just slip him in there.
Yeah. Guys, remember she has a baby. His name is Noah. And I think it's totally relevant to the next episode, which we'll get to in a minute. Is there any other questions?
Not really. They're just chatting about games and stuff. But Hanan said that she left a review that we have not read, but some of it's in Arabic, so we won't be able to read. I can't even like joke try and pronounce it at all.
I mean,
Because they're
you can't?
No, I can't. I might.
symbols.
But
Google
Hanan
Translate.
said,
Here's
and this
the
was
question.
earlier
Wait,
this was in
Hanan,
November.
Is it written in Arabic with Arabic letters, or it's written in Arabic?
Oh, Arabic letters.
Oh, never mind.
But the first
English,
part isn't.
Okay, because English, Arabic, I could try to pronounce.
So here, I'll read the English. This is
Phonetically.
from
Oh, you
November,
found
so
it.
I thought we had covered it already. But Hanan says, thanks guys for doing this. Now I don't have to force my husband to watch the show with me. I like your show because we can interact with you, and it's like talking about the show with my friends.
Aw,
girl.
that's sweet.
I learned English prior to coming to the States by watching SVU. I think I remember you saying that. So when I got here, I thought that America is
You go,
SVU. Emoji, stressed, tear face.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
so-
Arabic,
wait.
is in Arabic.
But
and
I'm
then
so sad.
this emoji. Twice.
Okay. Here's
I
my
hope
fear.
someone captured that.
I captured it. Here's my fear. If you learned English from SVU,
Where's the semen?
like, those are your questions.
You know what's funny is, so I used to live in Vietnam for a while. But I was born here, guys.
Is that funny?
No. I'm getting there. So I wanted to improve my Vietnamese. So I actually watched Law & Order Bet with
Dubbed?
Vietnamese subtitles.
Oh, interesting.
Awesome.
Well, I used to be fluent in French and speak Italian and Spanish decently well. I'm not anymore. But watching shows in other languages, that's a great way to learn another language.
Right.
Either watching them with subtitles so that you're hearing the language that you speak but seeing what
Visually.
the translation is, or even then just diving in and watching actual shows in whatever other languages that you want to learn.
Plus, you get to learn these terms that you wouldn't learn in books because you're learning like how are you and conjugations, but this is like real colloquial speaking. You're like, my parents would never teach me.
Sometimes, like if I am listening to something that has subtitles or something, because I can understand French really well. You catch that it's not exactly, you're like, no, that isn't the way you would translate that, or that's not the best way to have said that in English, but it's still a great way to.
My grandmother in Israel speaks Spanish and Portuguese because she watches soap operas.
Oh, wow.
She loves her telenovelas.
I love that.
She at least understands it.
Maybe she'll like that new telenovela show
on NBC.
with Eve.
Is it called
Longoria?
Telenovela. Yep. Awesome. I think we covered everything from this episode, so it might be time to turn into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz
These are
TV.
tough.
It's tough to do predictions, but I'll tell you what the next episode is. The next episode is Undercover Mother.
I've seen this so many times.
I really liked this episode. This is when a desperate mother goes undercover as a madam to find her daughter, who was kidnapped by sex slave traffickers. And I believe, I'm checking right now. Yeah, I believe this is the episode where we discover who is Noah's daddy.
Yes.
Who's the daddy?
Where's the semen? Sorry.
This episode, we did not have to look for semen.
Yeah, there was no semen.
There was no
I mean, there was, but we didn't.
We'd have to deal with it.
Nothing recalled.
We didn't cover it. Anyway, I believe we also get Barba next episode. Yay! And Lily Taylor guest stars. Amaro's there, yeah. Everyone's there. And I'm really excited for this next episode. It actually ties back to this like ridiculously overarching sex trafficking storyline. Right? So like we had it when we found Ellie Porter, and then when she got baby Benson, and then was it last episode?
I mean, they mentioned Ellie Porter in the last episode. They didn't really.
And then there was the episode with the Uber, and like, is that before or after this? This is after. Wait, now I'm so timeline. I'm sorry, guys. I'll bring in a timeline next week because I think that's going to be really important because I'm not sure where we sit anymore on what we know about this prostitution ring.
Damn it.
Yeah. So we're not going to say anything. We're not going to say anything
Yeah.
because we need to check our timeline, and I will make sure that next week starts with an accurate. Here's what we know.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's hard when you watch them all
out of order.
Yeah,
it's been predicted.
Yeah. So I'll say this for predictions. Why don't you tell me your favorite part of the episode, Intimidation Game, season 16, episode 14. Favorite parts of the episode.
Favorite part.
You have one?
I like when Carisi goes undercover with that guy. I forgot what his name is.
With Conley. Leslie Conley.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm Carisi, I'm the developer, but everyone calls me Sonny. It was like such a little dorky moment, but I like had like a big laugh out loud moment at home by myself watching it again.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a little tidbit, but
that's a good.
I did like that moment.
It was funny. I like what Carisi does undercover
stuff. That's a good moment. My favorite scene is actually, I really like when they were in the auditorium and you started having the laser point.
Yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose thereafter.
Interesting.
Very stressful and intense.
Because then you're like, okay, let's follow. Let's go.
Holy crap, how stressed would you be if there was laser pointers pointed at you and you were having death threats?
Yeah.
Honestly, the way she reacted, that's not how I would have reacted on stage. I would have been diving into the audience.
Right.
I would have been...
Yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't have told them, hey, no visible... no visible
presence. Yeah,
I want visible presence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She was so chill and like, we'll just keep
She's
going.
really naive about
my
it.
cats love laser pointers. I'm like, get the fuck out of there.
So two parts that I love. One is when she says to the cops, like, "You have warned me. I'm accepting," because I feel like there are times where I wish people would say stuff like that. Like, that they'd be like, I understand what you are saying and I accept it. I am accepting this risk. She's so corporate.
Yeah,
She is.
Right?
I accept this liability.
Yes, very procedural.
Like,
yeah.
I will sign this contract. I understand the risks and liabilities. I agree to your terms. She's the woman who reads the iTunes terms. Right? She's that woman. She goes,
Understand?
yes, agree.
I'm not going along with your plan.
Right. And my second favorite, this is awful, is when after Sarah's assaulted, when Rollins asks her if she's okay or what happened, and she's cleaning her makeup or fixing her face. She goes, "They leveled up, like it's no big deal."
Yeah.
That was
I
such
like,
an awkward moment for me.
Gosh,
Like,
yeah.
also, I would have been like, "What? How many levels?
Like, what are we?
Yeah.
like first
Second
base?"
Like, now how many like different metaphors are we throwing into
Yeah.
here?
That was my part. Was when she goes, "They leveled up."
I
Like,
know.
like it's
So
not
matter
a
of
big deal.
factly.
Say it like that.
Yeah.
I felt really sad at the end, actually, when
There was no. It was one of those that there wasn't a real conclusion.
I
to
felt
it.
really sad
I mean,
when she's like, I'm not going to do the launch anymore, or like,
Yeah.
she's like, it's
She's like,
over.
they won.
Yeah,
They already won.
Yeah.
It's really
They
depressing.
raped her.
it was really sad.
So Hanan says that she loved when Rollins says trying to find a geek in a geek stack.
That's a good one.
That
I
was
also
actually
really like when
funny.
they're watching the finals and they're like, "We need help. There's someone who's assaulted." She goes, "Oh, I'll take care of it."
Yeah, she's like, you dorks, you dork out, and I'll go do the police business. And then Gloria said her favorite part was at the end with it's the gamer's point of view, the one of the ending scenes, which I'm not recalling exactly what
When
scene.
the very end, as in when the guy realizes he realizes that his friends were taking it too far. Is that the
I don't know.
opinion?
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't want to speak for them. I don't know. I also loved I forget, when her fiance was like, "People are trying to kill you."
Yeah. Oh, about the fiance,
Yeah.
Stephen Kaplan here.
Right.
Didn't it feel like he was purposely trying to act like he was suspicious, but he wasn't? Did you guys ever get that feeling?
Like he would be involved?
Like
Like
he
he
was
would be
involved?
involved some way, somehow. And in a way, I almost felt like I was waiting for it. He never truly acted like completely innocent or completely empathetic for
Yeah.
his fiance. I felt like, yo, homie.
Yo, homie. No, I thought that initially watching it the first time, and then even this morning when I was rewatching it, I was like, oh, he's in on this. I'm like, I've seen this before. He's not.
Yeah.
I had a different mind when I watched it. Was, oh, she wears the pants. That's when my head went like, he should be at home cooking.
Oh, I guess I could
He should be
see
barefoot
that.
in the kitchen pregnant. Like, see, those are the kind of offensive jokes we make
I
here.
didn't feel that way. I felt like the director said, okay, so usually we have these characters that kind of come in, we kind of want to
Right.
like, you know,
Throw off the audience.
throw off the audience, and
Right.
you can kind of play off like you're involved, but you're not really, you know.
Yeah.
Just
So
felt that way.
he was supposed to play
Yeah.
a little shifty.
Yeah,
It would have
yeah.
been much more interesting if he was involved. I always like it when like the supportive fiance then like way later turns out like, oh, it was his
Right.
mother who hates her.
That was so obvious that he wasn't part of it. I felt like.
Well, and then it keeps it more like true to the real situation, I guess, since it was just an anonymous, like no personal relationship situation.
The other really great part, was when Sarah's recalling what happened and she was like, I don't know, like white, scrawny, and like they play
Describing
likes to play
everyone
video games. Yeah,
The geek and the geek stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Did we have to kill him though? Did Finn have to really kill him?
Whatevs.
I mean, I think it shows like how far, like how much that gets into someone's head and like how kind of crazy that can make a person, or how you can just like go, you know,
Because he went too far.
down that rabbit hole.
Guess
Interesting.
so.
All right, before we wrap up, any last thoughts from the chat?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
But it was Gloria's birthday recently, and
Happy
she got.
birthday!
She said she just turned 18 and got the full season of SVU on DVD from her dad.
Oh, what a
great
great
gift.
birthday gift.
Happy birthday.
approve.
Yeah,
Yeah. Happy
that's
birthday.
great.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, I used to get them. All right, we're getting turned off. Why don't you give the hotline before you give your social media info?
Oh yeah, it is for RAIN, and it is 1-800-656-HOPE. 1-800-656-HOPE.
I was like, it's 1-800-HOPE.
I always jumble the 5s and the 6s.
Yeah.
I gotta.
And where can people find you on Twitter and Instagram?
You guys, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and everywhere else at Lauren Salaun. That's LAUREN SALAUN.
Isabelle Do.
And you guys can find me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Isabelle Do. Yay!
Yay! You guys can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and Snapchat and Facebook and Periscope and Instagram, Pinterest and Polyvore and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at
Polyvore, okay.
Yeah, at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And we will see you here not next week because it's Christmas, but in a few weeks for more SVU. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.